Syria is in grave danger. Since the fall of the dictator Bashar al-Assad, a new government has taken power and been hailed by the international liberal order as ushering in a golden age of freedom in the country. However, this praise is misguided, to say the least. The new leader of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharaah, known also by his alias al-Joulani, is not who he claims to be. Prior to founding his own militant organization in 2013, Ahmed was a significant member of Al-Qaeda and was also one of the founding figures of the Islamic State. The purported liberalization of his ruling HTS has been nothing more than a calculated deception which was intended to earn international legitimacy, a legitimacy that the HTS's members have since forsaken. The reality is that Sharaa was effectively a member of ISIS from his earliest militant days until 2013. As many know, Sharaa was a veteran of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, or AQI, and their insurgency against American forces in 2003. AQI was the continuation of Abu Musab al-Zarqawi's JTJ, also known as Jama'at, a group in which al-Sharaah had been an important member. Originally established in 1999 and later merging voluntarily into Al-Qaeda, JTJ was where al-Sharaah became a close friend and confidant of al-Zarqawi. In 2003, during the Iraq War, Ahmed al-Sharaah was captured by American forces and detained at Camp Bucca, where he developed a personal relationship with Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, his cellmate, and the man who would later declare himself as caliph in 2014. After al-Zarqawi's death in 2006, AQI was rebranded as the Islamic State in Iraq under al-Baghdadi's leadership, though it continued to be known as AQI until its expansion into Syria. The Islamic State in Iraq, or ISI, then established the al-Nusra Front as its Syrian branch under al-Joulani's command, initially giving him control over about 50 fighters. Al-Nusra then quickly evolves into a broader coalition, which acts as a high command for a handful of Islamic militant organizations in the region, including the Islamic State-aligned Caucasus Emirate. In essence, Ahmed al-Sharaah answered directly to Baghdadi. To put everything I've just said simply, al-Joulani's original al-Nusra was conceived as a project solely intended to extend the Islamic State's influence into Syria, a designation that was confirmed by the United States government in 2012, with al-Baghdadi entrusting him with command over ISI, or Islamic State Iraq assets in Syria, such as the Caucasus Emirate. In fact, Western intelligence initially referred to al-Nusra as Islamic State Syria, or ISS for short. Al-Joulani's decision to break away from the Islamic State only came from his desire to avoid long-term subordination to al-Baghdadi and to establish an independent organization. The Syrian Salvation Government, which preceded al-Sharaah's eventual control over the entirety of Syria, adopted the Syrian independence flag emblazoned with the Islamic Shahada as its national emblem. In the earliest days of the Syrian transitional government, following Assad's overthrow last year, the Tawhid flag, the symbol of Islamic theocratic statehood, was used alongside the Syrian independence flag. Although I'd be surprised if people are still unaware of this fact by now, but upon overthrowing Assad, al-Sharaah, acting as the de facto leader, unilaterally declared himself as president of Syria, has dismissed parliament indefinitely and abolished the constitution, announcing that it will take up to 3 years to draft a new constitution and 4 years to hold new elections. Those were his initial announcements, though the suspension of elections has since been extended to more than 5 years. On December 8th, the day of Assad's overthrow, one of Sharaah's first acts was to deliver a speech at the Great Mosque of Damascus proclaiming a new chapter in Syrian history. Beginning in Idlib and now spreading to other major cities, the ruling HTS has imposed severe restrictions on women's dress code, mobility, and public participation. Women are required to be accompanied by a male guardian in public, and violations of these rules can result in fines or detention. In an interview with Lebanon's Al-Jadid TV, the chief of political affairs of Syria, Obaida Arnaout, announced that women will henceforth be excluded from certain aspects of public life due to their biological, psychological, and mental characteristics. Especially alarming is the appointment of Syria's new chief of women's affairs. Al-Debs, who heads this department, has publicly praised Hamas, mourned the death of its leaders, described the revolution against Assad as inherently jihadist, has rejected the notion of gender equality, arguing that secularism has harmed women, and stated that feminism will no longer be tolerated in a post-Assad Syria. Meanwhile, HTS member Shadi al-Waisi, formerly a judge for al-Nusra, and recorded on video ordering the execution of Syrian women for violating Islamic law, has been promoted as the Minister of Justice under al-Sharaah. Additionally, Abdulaziz Dawood Kudberdi, commander of the Turkestan Islamic Party, has been appointed as a brigadier general, as have many other Islamist militants from Jordan, Turkey, Xinjiang, Egypt, and Albania. Over the course of this very weekend, the Druze people have begun to face notably increasing aggression from the Syrian government. Israeli authorities, who grant special protection to the Druze, have demanded the defense of Druze settlements near Damascus, including in areas such as Jarmana, where violent incidents, which have been instigated by the Syrian security forces, have already been resulting in casualties. Gunmen from nearby suburbs have been harassing local Druze defenders, while in Swaida, the Druze have been resisting handing over their weapons in defiance against the new Islamic regime. Many are happy to see the overthrow of Assad. However, the fact is that without decisive intervention, Syria is on the track to suffer a fate similar to that of Iran and Afghanistan, where long standing social freedoms were entirely eradicated following the rise of jihadist regimes, which have, in the region, consistently been far worse than their preceding secular regimes across the board. Unless international intervention occurs, or a miraculous victory by remaining Ba'athist insurgents is achieved, one can only hope that such international pressure might at least temper the actions of this emerging jihadist dictatorship for the sake of the Syrian people.